Welcome to this video about being an ethical researcher from the Department of Engineering Library, University of Cambridge. The aim of this video is to enable you to recognise the importance of research ethics and learn how to submit your research for ethical approval in the Department of Engineering. In this video, we are going to cover the following areas. What are research ethics? Data protection, sharing your work ethically, plagiarism and how to avoid it, research integrity, and the Department of Engineering's ethical review process. So firstly, what are research ethics? As stated in the Ethical Code for Research, School of Technology, in all circumstances, researchers should act with rigour, honesty and integrity in all their scientific work. They are also required to have respect for life, public good and the law. They have to ensure that their work is justified, minimising any adverse effect their work may have on people, animals and the environment. It is the researcher's responsibility to seek further guidance in case of doubt. Research ethics is a serious issue that can affect careers at any point. Taking it seriously from the beginning is the key to avoiding difficult conversations further down the line. All researchers should consider the ethical context of the research being undertaken. Pause this video now and think about your own area of research. Can you think of any ethical issues that might exist? How would you respond to ensure that your research is conducted ethically? You need to be able to justify research decisions that you have made, not just to yourself, but also to the wider academic community through the department's ethical review process. If you are planning to involve people and/or personal data in your research, you will need to seek ethical approval to ensure that you are doing everything you need to do to protect your participants and their data. The principles of data protection have been reinforced by the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, which sets out the rules and standards for an organisation's use of information relating to living, identifiable individuals. The Act has strengthened principles and accountability in terms of how you collect, store, use, transfer, and dispose of personal data used in your research. You must be aware of any possible issues that may arise from how you manage your research data. Much more detailed information needs to be supplied to individuals about how their personal data is used. Individuals can exercise their rights for free. The GDPR both boosts existing rights, for example, the right to access the personal data or the right to have inaccurate data corrected, and introduces new ones, e.g. the right to be forgotten. It is also crucial to remember that certain types of personal data breach must be notified to the Information Commissioner's Office, ICO, within 72 hours, as well as to the affected individuals. Please see the link here to find out more information. When conducting research, you must consider confidentiality and anonymity. Confidentiality involves assuring that all the information gathered from or about participants is kept private. Explicit consent is required to reveal this information to third parties. Anonymity involves giving an assurance to participants that their identity will be protected. There should be no identifiable data in your data records. It is important when you anonymise personal data that you strip them of sufficient elements so that the individual can no longer be identified. If at any point you could use any means to re-identify the individual to which the data refers, the data will not have been effectively anonymised. So despite your attempts at anonymisation, you are in fact still processing personal data. Please follow this link to the ICO for more detail. If you are planning to involve people and/or personal data in your research, you need to seek informed consent to ensure you're doing all you need to protect your participants and their data. Care especially needs to be taken when working with vulnerable groups to ensure the well-being of the participants and that they suffer no adverse effects from participation. Researchers must respect the participants' right to withdraw from the research. Now let's move on to sharing your research. Sharing your research is an important part of the research process, but how can you do it ethically? You can make your research and any underlying data sets available openly by depositing them into the university's repository, Apollo, via your Symplectic Elements account, in a process known as open access. By doing this, you will be contributing to the strong culture of open research present within the university. You can license your work using Creative Commons licenses. The most common license is CC BY, where someone can share your work as long as they attribute it to you, although there are others available. You should always think about what you can share and how you might anonymize any personal data if applicable, whether you would license your own data for reuse, and how you can contribute to a culture of open research. And these questions should form part of your data management plan. Sometimes, depending on the nature of your research, making your outputs open will not be possible. For example, if you've signed a non-disclosure agreement. Collaborating with external partners often means protecting information that will be exchanged so that it is held in confidence and not misused. Any NDAs should be mentioned in your data management plan in terms of sharing research outputs and data sets. We're going to talk now about plagiarism, what it is, and how to avoid it. Plagiarism includes quoting verbatim without citing, paraphrasing without citing, cutting and pasting from online sources, submitting work from essay banks, and self-plagiarism. Ignorance of the rules is not a defence, and the university does treat plagiarism as academic misconduct, so it is important to know how to avoid it. You need to cite ideas and quotes from others' works, as well as from your own previously published or submitted work. Follow this link to find out more. Ethics and integrity are very important for all researchers to think about. What do we mean by research integrity? Research integrity involves carrying out research with honesty, care, thoroughness, and excellence, with transparency and open communication, and with respect for all participants, including you as the researcher. Serious ethical misconduct is rare, but it is very serious. You can contact your supervisor for advice, and you are encouraged to report anything of concern to the head of the department. Finally, we are going to look at the Department of Engineering's ethical review process. Ethical considerations should be included throughout the planning, design, and execution of your research. You can read an overview of the process on the department's research and finance pages. All the forms and documentation you will need are available on the same webpage. Stage 1 of the ethical review involves an individual assessment. Every research project in the department should be preceded by a consideration of ethical issues, including general issues of research governance, plagiarism, and whether or not the research involves human participants. You should discuss any ethical considerations in your initial discussions with your supervisor. The second stage involves a light touch review, where you should consider the purpose of your research, the participants or data used, where the data will be stored, and how it will be made secure. If your research involves human participants, when will consent be obtained and how? You will need to complete the approval form and include a participant consent form and participant information sheet. Stage 3, a full review, will be needed if your study involves deliberately misleading human subjects in any way, there is any risk of participants experiencing physical or psychological distress or discomfort, the research involves children or other vulnerable populations, or your research involves sensitive topics. As part of the full review, you will need to articulate the value and potential impact of the questions you are asking, clearly identify the precautions you will take in the recruitment of participants and when conducting the protocols, state what you will do if participants experience distress or discomfort, and outline the steps you will take to ensure anonymity and confidentiality. Stage 4 is a specialist panel review, and this stage is mostly for research involving animals or human tissue samples. If the Department Ethics Committee believe further guidance is required, your research proposal will be referred to a specialist panel within the university, who may request further information before either agreeing the study can proceed or recommending modifications to the research. Please follow the links on this slide for lots of useful resources and further information. Please feel free to contact us via email at any time. You are also able to book one-to-one supervisions for tailored support. Our website also has an ethics section under the Information Skills tab, where you will find a case study activity to complete. Thank you.